But let's get started for today, starting with some important announcements. So for anyone who wants a free copy of Portrait Studio, would you like a free copy of Portrait Studio? Would you like a free hour portfolio review with me? Would you like my brushes for free? Would you like to join me on a critique hour together on mic and speak with our listeners and be on my channel on one of my videos, talk about your portfolio and all that, as well as talk about the submissions for the upcoming challenge? Well, my subreddit might be just what you're looking for. So go to istebrak.com and click on the subreddit here. It'll take you to my subreddit, where you will find pinned at the top the Spring Community Design Challenge, Floral Humanoids. As you can see, a lot of people have been submitting their stuff. I just read through it. There's a lot that goes into it, but really it's simple all around. It's just you have to follow some submission rules. You still have a lot of time to work on it. You have a little over, you have exactly 3 weeks. The due date is the 5th of May. Right after that, on the 1st of June, my masterclass will be released at around $70 to $80. It's at that price because that was the price you all picked. I'm pricing it at that price. I would like to price it higher. I wanted to price it lower. I wanted to price it at $40, but a lot of the people who love me and love what I do told me, send me messages on Instagram. I think I got like 20 to 30 messages saying, stop trying to sell yourself short. You know, ask for what you think is fair for both parties. I know that really, if I was to ask for the full price of what my hours are worth, my private students would be paying more. But I can't honestly be asking $3,000, $2,000 for a number of sessions. Because then I'd just be like the other universities charging. I mean, you're only in classes once a week. How many weeks are there in a semester, and how much does a class cost? I wouldn't be any better than them. So I try to be fair in all aspects. Even my most expensive package, which is $800 before taxes, is still extremely cheap compared to what people are paying, considering what you're getting out of improvement from me, the way I teach, the way I've mastered pretty much teaching when it comes to portraiture. I've not mastered it, but I've come close. I've perfected it, let's say. My students improve. My students always improve. One of the things that I want to elaborate on is the price for what you're getting, really, for the price of the masterclass. You're getting full written notes written by me. My internet is going in and out. Am I getting disconnected, or is it just yeah, as you guys can see, my internet just keeps going in and out. Like, take a look at this while I talk. But yeah, you're getting full like 8,000 words to 10,000 words. By the end of my editing, I might hit 10,000 words of notes of just basically my personal thoughts on each fundamental and why they're important, an order of tasks to follow in order to complete a portrait, things that I would rather not leave and lost in translation during, you know, the colloquial way of describing a fundamental. I want to provide both the demonstration of the 3-hour tutorial, because the tutorial is the backbone of the masterclass. It's the full hour lecture you sit and listen to. But I also, for those list takers, for those listeners, for those who are just need a little bit more, I provide that as well. For the readers, really, not just the listeners, but the readers. I want to also provide a full package, so you're not just going to learn how to paint a grayscale portrait, but also how to transfer that grayscale portrait, which is more student friendly than teaching them to start portrait from scratch. Even though you, after the color tutorial, you learn both. You learn to transfer grayscale, and then you learn how to pick colors for skin. So there's the color grayscale to color portion. So this is and then there's polishing. So the painting doesn't stop at blocking and blending or iris free or something like that. No, it goes further. It goes into full rendering, full detail, polish, using the soft brush, applying final sheen, how to blend. There's a lot that goes into it. It has been a lot of work working on it. And I hope that when it's released, you guys enjoy it. You guys feel like it was worth the wait. I've been talking about it for around 3 months now. And it was never really determined when it was going to be released, just because I didn't have time. But recently I found a little bit of time to dedicate towards this. Now that I feel like I'm ready and I've had enough experience in the last 10 years that I've really, you know, perfected my method. There's a self-diagnosis portion, there's templates, and there's a lot of notes on how to really manage your time. There's an entire assignment list and timetable schedule on how to divide the tutorial week to week, month to month, and what to study. So I will be like, you know, the first week, or decide when you start. One day that week you're only going to do form studies. The next week you're going to do 2 portraits. Week after that you're going to self-diagnose. So it's not just a you know, tutorial video, then that's it. It comes with a lot of resources to help you manage your time and learn to be a better student. If you are enjoying today's class and you want to give back to the community, please consider joining as a $1 patron on Patreon. You get the full class today, and I'll announce that towards the end. And that's it really. If you'd like to go and vote on my YouTube channel, go to my YouTube channel, Istebrak, youtube.com/Istebrak. Click on the community tab. That's going to show up. I don't want to do it now because it'll just navigate me to YouTube if I click here instead of my channel directly. It will, right? No? Anyway, please consider voting. What do you think the price should be for everything that I just described? What do you think the price should be? A lot voted more than 80. The majority voted 70 to 80. And there will be sale prices for those who really can't afford. For those who work with a smaller budget, there will be a release price, I believe. I'm not sure. And there will be a sale throughout the year. Anytime you see a Portrait Studio sale, there's a collective sale in my store, from brushes to Portrait Studio to everything else. So don't worry, if you can't afford it, you will get a chance to. And that's it. Let's get started. So for this piece, my issue with it is that it's awkwardly framed. The lighting is dull and awkward direction for it. The character's narrative is cool, but it's also her expression, the colors, nothing is matching. This is a really joyful, joyous, jubilant combination of colors. And it's not working with the expression she has. This is a moment of destiny. This expression on her eyes is a kind of moment of revelation for her. So this character, who may be seen or looked at by another character behind her, she may be some kind of chosen one character, if that's the narrative you're going for. Maybe you didn't go for narrative, you were just drawing a picture and hoping some things click. But the way you framed it is that the camera favors her, but not really. The angle favors her, but not really. Her hair is getting in the way. Her hair is a single individual block. It takes up a lot of space in the canvas. It does not move with the wind, though there's a lot of wind, a lot of atmosphere. The background color for the sky is great, but then you've got this big blotch of horse piss right here, which is this yellow. The light environment is decided by the narrative. That's the mood, the atmosphere. So this character standing in the sun, demanding so much adoration for their position, so much kind of power that she has in her position. So I'm brightening that background behind her as if to signal to the viewer, look how important this character is. And her sun-kissed hair, but also fiery hair. There's a rage to her. So when we decide on narrative related stuff, we always start with the background. But the second most important, it's not really most important, but it's definitely important, is, oopsie, I had this thing on the whole time. But the second most important thing, is the gesture. And I feel like if I were really just going for it and I really wanted to make her, actually I'm going to, yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to rotate. Want her to feel like that towering character. What I'm going to do is keep the camera low, as if we are looking at this character from this angle. And then I'm going to, actually, I'm going to rotate the camera instead. Rotate the light because I don't want the axes to rotate. I'm going to bring down this arm. And I don't want it to be that. Uh-oh. There's people. Road rage outside. By the way, I know you guys can hear a shit ton of traffic in my classes. That's because my freaking windows are basically one pane of glass, and there's a really, really like high traffic road just outside my window. It's hell on earth. It's hell on earth. And I cannot wait until we can replace my window this summer to something more soundproof and soundproof my room. So it's all in the works, y'all. So I feel like the sun could be behind her, and the ambient light could just really be from anywhere, something like that. Just maybe geared towards that a little bit, just whatever is reflecting light nearby. Really, when you're in the shadow, the light is coming from the bottom, because that's just the light reflecting off the surface of the earth back up to your face. If the camera is pointing at your shadow, if she was in full silhouette, as you can see the ambient light on the character here, that's exactly what it would look like. So I'm just going to be casting the shadow this way, just to cheat a little bit, because we are still working with a portrait. So take a look at what happens to this character when we tilt the camera like that. And look at the indicators for the perspective change. Watch the shoulder and the neck. Where does the neck go? I feel like I'm like a Dora, Dora the Explorer. Where does the neck go, guys? Do you guys see the neck? ¿Dónde la? I don't know what the word for neck is in Spanish. All right, so you see what happens? The neck disappears behind the shoulder. And let's say she tilts her head a little bit more, and raises her chin. Now she looks like a Cersei character. So maybe we don't want her to feel menacing, but we also want her to feel heroic but humble. So humbleness kind of is just a level head, but evil has like a low chin. Do you see that? So much expression. By the way, what is this software? I always forget to mention. This is Portrait Studio, and it's available on my store if you want it. If you want help designing these illustrations, Portrait Studio will save you. So anyway, yeah, the other arm is still out. It's okay. You see how much power now she suddenly has. So I want to do something like that, but for your piece. So I'm just going to take a quick screenshot and kind of center it still, so there's that awkward framing, but also still invest some of that power in the character. By the way, if you want the full class, if this makes it to the cut, if you want the full class, I really encourage you guys to join us as supporters, as watchers on Patreon. It's just $1 a month for 8 hours of art lecturing from me. So please consider joining as $1. It's not about the money. It's about everybody pulling that together and working toward a point in time in the future, whenever it happens, where this entire community is self-sustaining. If I reach a point where I cannot do it anymore, and I'm only doing Critique Hour, it's still an extremely self-sustaining system. So I'm encouraging everyone to hop on board. Not that I'm going to die or get disabled or anything. I hope not. I'm not seeing that in my future. But it's just a way for me to ensure in the future that the community stays an option for me. So if you do want to, please consider joining on Patreon as a watcher. Before, after. See that perspective we added only because we tilted her head back and forth. Anyone got some music? Right, see that? And then look at that acting. She kind of tilted her eyes further. So here she's looking directly behind our heads, but here she's looking slightly to the side. Makes her look more mysterious. And so the next thing I'm going to do is just cut out so I had to track the hair, kind of cut out the hair a little bit, and just kind of apply some perspective to the hair, I guess I could say. There is not much perspective to the hair other than it should fade away into the other side. And I'll talk about hair in a second, but I'm just gonna have to patch up some of this lasso here. Oh yeah, that's the best part right there. It's mostly the subsurface. It's not so much silhouette that we don't get to see the skin anymore. We get to see it, and I'm going to bring back a lot of that, so don't feel like, oh no, she makes everything a silhouette, but just look at what's happening to the hair. So I'm going to get in the dodge brush. Before I start blending, I want a dodge tool before I start blending the hair, and I want to just spike that up. So dodge tool is a dangerous tool, and only the wisest of wizards can use it. But if you are and have been raised in the Istebrak school of witchcraft and wizardry, then you'll be able to use it with a bit more maturity. Basically, the rule to dodge tool is whenever you use it, follow it up with sponge tool on desaturate, because you don't want to look like a plebeian using a fire magic wand that you had no business using, and then you end up incinerating you and everyone else, and you just go down in history as a fool whose name is brought up on all those safety manuals for magic wands. Okay, so make sure that you guys are always going to follow it up with a sponge tool on desaturate, just to get rid of that excessive saturation that comes with it. We are looking at such a small part of the sky that if I were to draw the hemisphere in question, all right, so let's say this is the globe, this is her position on the globe, and this is this part of the sky that she can see in her position on the globe. So let me do a better, more three-dimensional shape. All right, so we've got this hemisphere, so not really hemisphere, quarter sphere. All right, so this is that top half of the earth. This is where she is, and this is the sky she can see, and this is the camera just under her, and it's taking a picture of her, but it's not all of this sky that we're seeing just out of her. It's just the window of the camera. So in fact, we're seeing such a small little portion of the sky. I don't know why you had to bring in all your clouds. All the clouds were like, oh my god, they're taking a picture. Let's all get together and get get in the camera shot. Come on, guys. They're taking a picture over here. I don't know why you guys cluster all your freaking clouds in the same, like, square, like, 30-centimeter squared space. It's not working. I mean, obviously, no, it's miles apart. We're looking at miles and miles. But anyways, stop doing that, because stop adding gradients in your background. Stop adding the big piss-colored sun ray here. The sun is doing its job somewhere across the sky, somewhere over here, illuminating half the hemisphere. Trust me, your little camera is not going to capture the full gradient of that sky gradient. We're too small, and our camera viewfinder is too small, and the zoom is too close. The more uniform your sky color is, and the less gradients you have, the more vibrancy you're going to get out of that. And if you had to add a glare, which I will add towards the end, but I'll add it now for the sake of the topic at hand, you can add it really like barely. It's just what the camera is experiencing. The camera is experiencing some kind of glare happening. It's not the actual gradient of the sky. Okay, all right, so let's get back into this. And I'm just reducing that. What do you guys think? An artist with 5-year experience is still a noob compared to a master with 20 years of experience. Yeah, coming from my cloud family. What is Dodge tool? I use Clip Studio. It's a tool that illuminates and saturates simultaneously, meaning it looks cool to the noob eye, to the untrained eye, but to the professional, it looks like you got a bunch of icing and you iced like you got so much syrup that you drowned your pancake to the point where it's not even a pancake anymore. It's just diabetes on a plate. It's really just about taking the levels, you know, which level we want. It's not a big change, but it's just like, you know, a small amount of change. if you wanted to push the perspective a little bit more. But we've pretty much satisfied the requirement for making it feel like it's in perspective because of the way we tilted all of the features to go down at an angle like this and read as perspective. There's a lot I didn't do. Again, I don't have a lot of time on me because I gotta go to the gym after class so that I could burn off all the ramen pounds. All right, so before, after. See that horse piss yellow that you didn't even need? I put it behind her to be more effective. And then, relatable. And then we added the light behind her on this side to create the glow and the silhouette. Any questions at all before I let you guys go? So if you liked today's class, if you learned something, please consider joining as a watcher on Patreon. I want to get to 1,000 watchers. It's just for the sake, the future of Critique Hour, the future of keeping it alive, as I explained before. It has a lot to do with, not so much to do with money, but to do with everybody coming together to keep the community alive. Like, it's a community-funded community. It's self-sustaining. There's no need to constantly bend to the rules of YouTube. So for now, I've shortened my videos just to get my classes out there to the world, but I don't want to do this forever. So if you guys want to help out and join as watchers, if you learned something today, if you had fun, please consider joining as a watcher. I'm trying to get everybody on board. I know you may say, oh, somebody else will do it, but that person will also say it, and then everybody says that, and then in the end, a year has passed, and I've only gotten 5 watchers. So please consider, if you have the time, if you have a credit card. I understand $1 is a lot for some people. They don't even have a credit card. Totally get that. It's just for those who can and have supported other people on Patreon. If you could throw $1 towards Critique Hour, if everybody does it, it won't impact any one person too much. It's not $20 a month. It's just $12 a year for 8 videos a month. It's not a lot. It's not meant to be a lot. The point is that it's an untraceable amount. It's just something to help the community in the long run through the test of time. As time passes, so many people will join that I won't, have to rely on certain things that I'm currently doing to my channel and allow my classes to be an hour long again. Plus, Patreon is somewhere where I will in the future start announcing from, because Patreon does not siphon or change the amount of viewers I can access that YouTube and Facebook both do to me. Patreon will let me access every patron. And so I'll be able to send out announcements a lot easier for everyone, for Critique Hour, for community challenges, all of that to all of my watchers. I'm just trying to get everybody to join me there. And Portrait Studio that I used today is on my store, it will no longer be on sale once, basically it'll go back to almost full price. It's been on this pandemic sale that I've just been trying to, again, I always try to stay mindful of your financial climates and the general financial climate, but it will go back up on sale after my masterclass comes out, off sale after my masterclass comes out. My masterclass will include most of the stuff I did today to the face, and it'll be released on June 1st, and May 5th is the due date for the Floral Humanoid Design Challenge. So many updates, so much going on. Thank you guys for your support. I'll see you guys next week, Tuesday or Thursday, most likely Thursday. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye.